was a sort of what I guess I'd call a sweet satire. Now I'm going to read a longer one. This is the first part of a 5-part story called The Parents We Deserve. And this is, I would call this a harsher satire. You'll see that for yourself immediately. After what seemed an eternity, it finally happened. They died. Paula's mother, 87, went first. And 2 months later, her dad, 89, came tumbling after. "Oh, Paul," she sniffed. "Now I'm an orphan, too." There, babe," he said with a smile. "We all gotta go sometime." And they began to talk about whether to sell the Palm Beach condo immediately or to rent it month to month while they considered their options. 3 weeks later, the magnificent property, 2 bedrooms, 3 baths, golf course view, was gone, $1.7 million, which brought their share of the total estate, one sibling after taxes, to a decent but not outrageous $14.265. Was it mere coincidence that their names, Paul Mergers and Paula Acquisitions, were so similar? Hardly. A decade earlier, and about a month into the negotiations for what they would soon be jocularly calling their non-hostile mutual takeover, the name question had popped up at an expensive restaurant. The expert waiter, having finished serving the snails, and having opened the excellent bottle of Pinot Grigio for both diners to taste and praise, glided off into the restaurant's dim recesses. The foreground music was loud and sexy, romantic. "Paula and Paul," Paula said, reaching over to take Paul's hand. Looking into her eyes, he said, "Paul and Paula. It was meant to be. Yup, to love, to self-love." Clinking glasses, they drank to that. For the first year or so after the demise of their second and last set of parents, the orphans sailed along swimmingly. They earned 2 salaries, 2 bonuses, 2.6. They spent, they exulted. According to the famed French philosopher René Deschappes, quipped Paula one midsummer Saturday afternoon, as they stood before the perfume counter of a fine department store, "J'achète, donc je suis." Paul smiled dutifully at the forced adage, but inwardly he frowned. Sucking in 7 or 8 fragrances with one big gasp, he held them in his lungs while his mind flashed to the connubial bottom line. Yes, he had to admit it. After 11 busy years, his wife's frequent wit, with its ambivalent edge, was finally getting to him. Not for the first or even the second time, he knew in his heart that something was wrong with their relationship, something was missing. And as he finally exhaled, he knew exactly what that something was. Yes, it was time for the well-heeled, well-adjusted 30-something couple to have parents. Again. "Is it possible, P? Do we really miss them?" Paula asked rhetorically. "The perpetual crises, the sense of entitlement, the demands, the immaturity?" "You know we do," Paul replied. "Yes, it's irrational, but on some level, in some crazy way, all children need parents. Maybe it's just guilt. Maybe it's a need to feel superior. Whatever. It's real." So they agreed. They needed parents. And they needed them sooner, not later, since after all the biological clock was ticking, and in not too many years, Paul and Paula would be too old for the exacting task of childing, that is, of having parents. But fortunately, as both of them also knew, it is the easiest thing in the world to buy love. Their ad personals in modern immaturity, that widely perused magazine for the target population, tempered a pound of bluntness with an ounce at least of tact. Excuse me. Elderly couple wanted for full-time live-in position as surrogate parents for financially secure, orphan, 30-something couple. Must be ambulatory, continent, able to assume position immediately. Excellent salary, benefits, comfortable accommodations, plentiful food, Usual parenting duties. Equal opportunity employer. No seniles, please. Emails only. http://www.modern.com, purse number 442/11. After 2 weeks, hundreds of applications, most of them unsuitable, and including several pairs of overt perverts, and 4 interviews negative, P&P found their couple. According to the Terse E app, Myron and Myrna, Fearful Symmetry, had just moved back to the city from Life is Rich, Palm Beach, Florida. This, the 5th and final interview, took place in the living room of Paul and Paula's split-level, climate-controlled penthouse condo, 3 bedrooms, 3 baths. As the tan-old couple sipped their virgin G&Ts and tried not to succumb to the mixed nuts, Paul threw them an opening softball. So then, folks, tell us why you're moving back to the city. Way too many codgers down there, just like us, Myron explained, gliding his loafers back and forth on the plush white carpet as if he were skiing while sitting down. Then there's the heat, the humidity. The travel brochures sure don't mention those things. May through October, the whole state is like a giant pizza oven, and we're the pepperoni. P&P smiled politely as Myron pretended to pant and mop his brow. Myrna vigorously wagged her blue-rinsed head and flashed her Medicare-quality dentures top and bottom. Pizza ovens are dry, not humid, dear, she corrected. And how about the cost of living? There are so many millionaires down there we could hardly afford to buy our groceries and other necessities. And do you think they have senior citizen discounts? Ha, not on your life. Ha ha, Myron said, they have junior citizen discounts. But that's enough complaining, dear. Don't mind Mother, folks, she's a great kidder. Speaking of kidding, did you hear the one about the rabbi and the alligator? They hadn't, so he told it. As soon as the mutual compliments had been completed, and the door had closed softly behind the short elderly couple, and after only a few snorts over their matching Walmart golf outfits, Paul and Paula agreed that the search was over. Aren't they cute, Paul said. Those are parents anyone could be ashamed of. Yes, they're exactly what we need. It was true. Myron and Myrna appeared to be the quintessential parents. Their sins seemed totally venial. Accordingly, the next day, as per instructions, the P's white shoe lawyer drew up a contract, and without hesitation, both couples inked said contract, money changed hands, and just like that, the P's had hired the M's. 2 days later, furniture to follow, the old couple moved into the spacious guest bedroom, full bath attached, and cohabitation began. In some ways, the M's gave excellent value for their generous salaries, perks, and allowances. Paul and Paula felt something like parental pride when a couple of middle-level managers from the office were practically rolling on the floor over Myrna's wonderful Victor Borgia imitation. She proved an accomplished piano hobbyist, and over Myron's cascade of off-color limericks. The young couple was also gratified by the fact that M&M took an interest in the careers of their children. The new parents' quick grasp of the arcane machinations of modern high finance was a pleasant surprise.